I mean, the actions of the president, many have said that there were several attempts, surreptitiously or otherwise, for him not to have done what he did, calling the president-elect and allowing certain processes to play itself out. If, assuming that were the case, and he botched, do you think we would have been where we are today? In spite of all of these points that your party recognized and predicated your campaigns on.
If he had not called the president, a winner would still be declared. The point is that the President Jonathan, must decide where he wants to be placed in history. His tenure has ended, but his history has not ended. So he would have now to decide how he wants the history after his tenure to be constructed in the annals of the story of this nation. I think that a sensible leader will sit down and reflect and recognize that leadership is a lonely office, which must be handled with a lot of great care. And I believe that President Jonathan went through a process of reflection, which is essential for serious-minded leaders. And it was on the basis of that he took the decision. If he hadn't, it's not that it will affect anything, because the nation, you must appreciate something, what this election has demonstrated. The people of Nigeria are affirming their right to constitute government over themselves, and that this nation belongs to them. It is a form of revolution, because heretofore, it appears, coming from the human rights community, we fought for this democracy. People like us, I went to jail 3 times, one for 1 whole year. We want a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. But heretofore, in this nation, it appears as if what we have had is a government by the government, for the government, and of the government, all the people in government. We find a situation largely where our people appear not to have friends in government. So the argument that we put forward, and I'm one of the speakers on Facebook and all of that, is an intense dialogue. And my position is that, for the first time, let the people vote to decide who they want to govern them. Once our people now change government, then any government, including our government, will take them seriously. If they find that a government fails to meet the aspiration of the people should be able to change it. Heretofore, there is a presumption that our people cannot change government. So my point is this. Yes, President Jonathan has done very well in his own interest. But if he had failed to do well, the nation belongs to us. We will still have a government. We will still raise a leader based on the approbation of the people through the elections, by the electors, that is the people. So yes, it is good development, but it is fair to him and fair to Nigeria.
All right, Dr. Dogo, I'll come to you in a minute. I need to go to our correspondent, Emmanuel Ere. We spoke to him earlier in the day, and here is the report he filed in.
I'm Emmanuel Ere, reporting from Port Harcourt, the River State capital. APC in the mood of celebration over the victory of General Muhammadu Buhari, as the PDP in the state insists that is not yet over for them. Nigerians have crossed the first hurdle, the presidential election for the APC in Rivers State, the emergence of their candidate as the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria calls for celebration as party supporters earlier in the day stormed the Port Harcourt International Airport to welcome home one they call their hero, the governor of Rivers State, Chibuike Amechi. For the PDP in the state, it is fight to finish, as the party leadership has called on its supporters to brace up for the governorship election. Well, after all said and done, many say it's about the people, that whoever sits as president or becomes the governor of River State must put the people first. And in that same breath, the hope that the governorship election in the state will be violence-free.
Well, thank you, Emmanuel. Let me get your response to this, Dr. Dogo, because we'll still have the states and state houses of assemblies election coming through, and there are many who also wonder, because your party has been speaking about how they intend to approach these elections. Do you also expect that we approach this the same way, being mindful of the fact that the people's votes ultimately have got to count?
Probably highly unlikely, but I think I want to correct one impression before we move on. You see, no matter what a person thinks, any Nigerian today who will not give Jonathan the credit of what he has done, I think will simply not be very fair to him. Jonathan has placed himself at the state, not just being a statesman, but an international figure. Jonathan has made Nigeria proud locally and internationally. In fact, in my view, Jonathan is the 6th nationalist that Nigeria has produced, after Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, Ahmadu Bello, Awolowo, and now we have Jonathan. He is and has placed himself probably on the same level to being a Mandela, Mahatma Ghandi, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., or probably the three put together. We have to understand that without Jonathan's kind of approach, probably Nigeria wouldn't have even had democracy, during the doctrine of necessity. If he had approached it differently, today we wouldn't be thinking of anything. But when you look at what the PDP has done, what the PDP has done is to provide that level feel for all and sundry through Jonathan, as I said earlier on, to express themselves and to reach the highest level possible. That is why we even have the possibility of having the APC. Remember that for every 20 people in the APC, 18 are from the PDP. That is what you have to understand. Every 20 people, we can take the statistics.
Isn't that too broad?
No, it is not too broad. Take all the leaders of the APC from beginning to the end at present, and all members of the APC, and you will see that for every 20, 18 are from the PDP. And they have been governors for probably 8 years, and senators for 4 years, or even more. Do you see it? And so you will technically say that the APC is simply Team B of the PDP. So anybody thinking something different is probably not being sincere. And that is why I am saying categorically that coming to the governorship elections.
Let me get this reaction before you come to the governorship.
Coming to the governorship elections, we will see a different ball game. For example, I believe, and I stand to be corrected, that Lagos is going to witness exactly the same thing that has happened at the federal level with Jimmy Agbaje pinching it and taking it, because Lagos also needs a change. Lagos is yearning, crying, wishing for a change. In Kaduna State, I tell you,
let's hold on Lagos,
because we want.
We'll look at the figures for Kaduna, but let me get Dr. Bayami's response before we take a break.
That's the statistics of PDP. So they are at liberty to. I don't know which state is talking about. In my state, PDP does not exist at all in APC. Until very recent, and they're very small. Is it in Lagos State? Is it in Lagos State? Is it in Kaduna? Is it in Borno State? Is it in Sokoto? So the point is that, let me emphasize something. If people come from PDP to APC, they are running away. So you can run from something to freedom. I believe that coming in is because they believe that they have a better chance to improve this country. And that is why some people like Amechi, like the governor of Saraki, and so on and so forth, came in. So the issue is, once you come to AC, you become a new, it's like it's like you change your citizenship. If you leave Nigeria and you take up the citizenship of Nigeria, are you saying Nigeria? If you leave Nigeria and you take up the citizenship of America, are you still a Nigerian? You are a different person entirely.
Not a
the Bible says all things have become new. That's the situation.
So go to the
and that is what has happened. That is what has happened in this country, and that is the whole issue of change.
Okay, we'll find out if all things indeed have become